Think you have it all figured out? Most leaders never do. In fact, the best leaders are those that never stop learning, never stop developing. Leadership and lifelong learning, coming up right now on The Leadership Voice. Welcome to The Leadership Voice. I'm your host, Jay Barbuto. This show features business and community leaders sharing their wisdom and insights around leadership and leadership development. Each episode features business and community leaders, faculty experts, a quote of the day, a leadership countdown, Did You Know, and a leadership advice segment. Tonight we have two accomplished guests joining us. We have Dr. Anil Puri, Interim Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs for Cal State Fullerton. We also have with us Dr. Morteza Rahmatian, Interim Dean, Mihaylo College of Business and Economics at Cal State Fullerton. Our faculty guest today will be Professor Gerard Beenen. The Center for Leadership seeks to be the leadership voice of Orange County. We do this through innovative programs that touch every level of the university. Our undergraduate students, our graduate students, our alumni, as well as the Orange County and Southern California business community. We have several major initiatives that make us who we are and that define the programs that we're trying to progress and move forward to make the greatest impact. For our undergraduates, we have the Leadership Scholars Program. The Leadership Scholars Program was developed to provide a connection with industry. Specifically, it provides an opportunity for our students in Mihaylo College of Business and Economics to meet with and to interact with top executives from around the area. This program started in 2012 and has grown from 0 at the time to now over 300 leadership scholars. We're really proud of this program, and we believe that it's in many ways the hallmark of the Center for Leadership. The second initiative that we have is more of a business community initiative, and that is our annual Leadership Awards Luncheon. The annual Leadership Awards Luncheon is designed to recognize excellence in executive leadership and excellence in leadership development. Each year we recognize honorees that are deserving of these honors. And last year, most recently in 2016, we had 210 that attended our annual awards luncheon. We expect that initiative to continue to grow as we continue to recognize excellence throughout Southern California. Our third initiative of the Center for Leadership is our Bringing Learning to Work initiative. This is the initiative that connects the faculty expertise of our college with industry through a series of lunch and learn, half-day and full-day training workshops. Another initiative of the Center for Leadership is our MBA concentration in organizational leadership. Students can now get an MBA with a concentration in organizational leadership. The Leadership Voice is our final initiative, and that is this TV show, which you're watching right now. It's now time for our quote of the day. Before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others. That was Jack Welch. Our first guest currently serves as Interim Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs for Cal State Fullerton. He was formerly the Dean of Mihaylo College of Business and Economics, where he has served for 18 productive years and oversaw an economic and educational transformation for the college. He is also well known for his role in the Orange County Business Council and Cal State Fullerton's collaboration of the Dean's Economic Forecast, an annual event that attracts over 1,000 business professionals. It is with great pleasure that I introduce Provost Anil Puri. Dr. Puri, a lot of people may not know exactly what a provost does. Could you take a moment and please share what are the key responsibilities of the provost at Cal State Fullerton, and what excites you most about this role?
Provost leads the academic side of the university, which is 2/3 of the university, if you include all the students, the faculty, the staff. In addition to that, when the president is away, the provost serves in her behalf. So basically, the provost works for the faculty and works for the president in helping president fulfill her vision and in helping faculty and staff do their best to achieve their best and for the success of our students. So Provost has a very interesting and important role, and I'm thrilled to be in that role. It's exciting to see our faculty do well, see our students succeed, and see Cal State Fullerton achieving greater heights.
You've been here now at Cal State Fullerton over 30 years. So in that time that you've been here, what do you believe has changed the most in terms of what is required of industry leaders through these years?
Industry has changed a great deal in the last 30 years. Just look at technology, the role of technology, how all of our daily lives, whether it's personal or professional lives, have changed. Industry is responding to both globalization and changes in technology. So people the industry looking for today have to be a lot more skilled. They have to have a much better understanding of not only tools, but also how industry functions at various levels. So it is no longer possible to go with a high school degree and hope to do well in industry, especially if you want to move up the organization. So I think the level of knowledge and skills required is a lot more higher today than it was 30 years ago.
How has leadership evolved during your administrative career? Specifically, how has your leadership evolved during your administrative career?
Well, I've learned my leadership on the job, having been here a long time. Yeah. And as your quote mentioned earlier today, you start with your personal success, but the leadership is about other people's success. Leadership is about getting people organized and motivated for a common purpose. Mm-hmm. And I learned that over time, establishing a vision for Mihaylo College of Business, getting faculty and staff to be excited, feel proud about their mission, and then getting organized to do things that we need to do to reach our goal, to reach our ambitions. So I think leadership all about other people really, rather than your own skills.
Yeah, that's great. One of the exciting things about your role at Mihaylo College of Business and Economics when you were dean is the creation of the Centers of Excellence. And specifically, the Center for Leadership is one of the youngest of those Centers of Excellence. Could you talk a little bit about the earliest conversations with business community leaders that resulted in the launch of the Center for Leadership?
Sure. We have had leadership courses in our curriculum for a long time, mm-hmm. both at the undergraduate level and the graduate level. But we never really had a focus on leadership per se. And so the Center for Leadership was created to provide that focal point, not only for our curriculum, but also for our faculty to do research, to provide expertise for faculty to outside world, to the industry leaders, because they're clamoring for, they need the help and training. So Leadership Center was created with those goals in mind, both internally providing a focus for leadership, as well as making our expertise available to the industry folks.
And how did your original vision for the center compare to what the center has now become?
Center has done quite well, actually. I'm very impressed with the progress that has been made in both areas, as I said, internally making our students more aware, more skilled in leadership skill that they have, and also reaching out to the industry. Center has created a very impressive board of advisors. It has several initiatives, several programs, and I look forward to more of that, because I think more of our students need to have training in leadership. They need to understand the essentials of leadership. And it has to be throughout the student body, not just for a small number of students. I think we have work ahead of us. Similarly, reaching out to the industry. I see Center of Leadership becoming the place to go to when business people, when industry wants to have training of any kind of leadership skills. We are on our way. We're moving up there, but there's a lot more work ahead of us.
Thank you, Provost Puri, for joining us today and for sharing your insights and telling us more about the genesis of the Center for Leadership. It's been a real pleasure to have you on the show today, and also the Cal State Fullerton community is lucky to have such a dedicated and talented leader such as you guiding us.
Okay. Thank you, Jay, and I congratulate you for leading the center. And you've done a wonderful job from its inception. You're the first and the only director so far, and I look forward to watching you be successful in the future years.
Now it's time for Did You Know? Did you know U.S. News & World Reports estimates that the average starting salary for bachelor's degrees in business is $50,000 per year, but the average starting salary for MBAs approaches $90,000 per year. So it really does pay to learn. We'll be right back after this message.
Well, we found here at Honda Center and the Anaheim Ducks that the Center for Leadership brings expertise in doing research, in doing training. The faculty that has come and given the training to our employees does all the research themselves. They're not pulling this information off the shelf. They're out there researching themselves, talking from firsthand experience, and it brings such a level of competency that we, again, don't find from other trainers that are on the market.
Well, simply put, is what really differentiates and distinguishes Fullerton and the Center for Leadership really is your expertise. You guys are able to create customized content for our business based on true research.
The faculty from Cal State Fullerton, obviously they're professors of their field. They have deep knowledge in research, but also, aside from the theory, they really bring in some practical examples, and they bring in a lot of interactive activities.
The Bringing Learning to Work initiative is our way of meeting the needs of Orange County businesses and communities. When our clients ask the Center for Leadership to come to bring learning to work, the clients know that they're getting cutting-edge information, the latest thinking in the field, but they're also getting world-class training. Welcome back. It's now time for the Leadership Countdown. Every show here on the Leadership Voice, we will share with you a list of leadership interest that relates to the topic of this episode. Today's topic is lifelong learning, and so we have a top 10 list. Today are the top 10 reasons to do an MBA. This is published by postgrad.com, and here they are. So the top 10 reasons to do an MBA. Number 10, personal development. We all want to get better. Number 9, enhanced communication skills, something we all should work to continuously improve. Number 8, enhancing our knowledge. It's good to learn new things. Number 7, worldwide recognized credential. Everyone knows what an MBA is. Number 6, increased credibility. People will listen to someone with an MBA. Number 5, flexibility. Most MBA programs are increasingly more flexible, so you can fit them around busy schedules. Number 4 on our list of the top 10 reasons to do an MBA is that it's ideal for networking. What a great way to meet new people and to build your own network. Number 3 reason to do an MBA is better career opportunities. An MBA will open doors. The number 2 reason to do an MBA would be that you might be able to be your own boss. Many MBAs start their own companies. And the number 1 reason to do an MBA is high salary potential. On average, MBAs earn $40,000 more than people with bachelor's degrees. So this has been your Leadership Countdown. Our next guest here on the Leadership Voice is the Interim Dean of Mihaylo College of Business and Economics, a former Associate Vice President of Academic Affairs and Associate Dean, Chair of the Department of Economics, and Center Director. Please welcome with me a great leader and a great person, Dean Morteza Rahmatian.
Thank you.
Dean, welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
We're so glad you could be here.
Glad to be here.
Now, you've been at Cal State Fullerton for 28 years now.
Yes.
First as a faculty member, and then 7 years as director of the Center for Economic Education, 8 years as chair of the Department of Economics, 3 years as associate dean of our college, 2 years as associate vice president of academic affairs, and now you're celebrating your 1-month anniversary as our interim dean for Mihaylo College of Business and Economics.
That's correct.
So for all those out there that don't know what actually a dean is responsible for, could you briefly explain to our audience what is the role of the dean?
The dean is technically executive officer of the college. And in that capacity, he or she manages the departments and centers and alike. In our college of business, we have 6 departments and 15 centers of excellence. And in all capacity, dean is responsible in their operation. One of the biggest responsibility of every dean is in basically retention, promotion, and tenure of the faculty. That's a huge responsibility for the college, because once we commit ourselves to a faculty, that is in most cases a lifetime commitment. So we need to make sure we have the right person, right leaders in place, and make sure that the faculty that we select are here to stay and are here to help us in our mission and our vision and our direction. So dean basically delegates many of the responsibility to the department chairs and others, but overall, he or she is responsible for every decision that is made and every direction that we take.
Well, it sounds like a great and exciting and very important role in the college, and we're glad you're in that role.
Thank you.
So as you reflect on your career at Cal State Fullerton, now you've been here 28 years, how has your leadership philosophy evolved during that time? What is the biggest change in your own leadership style that you've observed through the years?
Leadership is about taking a risk and when to take it. And your skills cannot get outdated, because if it does, then leaders can become followers. Yeah. Leaders should not be afraid of hard work, should be patient, should have a great vision, sound vision, and also make difficult and hard decisions. Over the time that I served in this capacity at Cal State Fullerton and other institutions, we've seen changes. The biggest change that we saw over my time is information technology. That changed everything, the way we work, the way we communicate, the way we basically live. And as a leader, you need to invest in your skills and upgrade your skills to make sure you can adapt and adjust to the new vision and new method of life. And this is one of the things that a good leader, in my opinion, should not be afraid of, and should accept the change and not be afraid of asking and learning. So as a new leader, to stay as a leader, you always have to be current. And that's one of my mission and vision that I always follow.
So you're always learning and you're always developing.
I'm always learning. I usually call myself, I'm a student of life. So I try to learn.
So what have you learned now, as you look back at your career, that you wish you'd known 20 years ago?
You can't make everybody happy. Basically, you should feel comfortable for being uncomfortable. If you make an uncomfortable decision and you're not happy about it, then you're not set to do this. As a leader, I basically should be transparent, should be collaborative, engaging, inspiring, and have forward thinking. I use an example as a teacher. If you're as a teacher in a classroom, you make everybody happy, 100% of your students are happy with you, then you are doing something wrong. Unfortunately, there are those very small percentage who may not follow your lead, but you do have to look at the bigger picture. And as I said, you have to be very comfortable for being uncomfortable and make uncomfortable decisions.
Yeah, sometimes growth and change is not uncomfortable. So during these years, I mean, you've seen different leaders come and go. You've had a lot of different experiences. What values that you hold dear and true, what values have endured throughout your academic and administrative career?
Leadership and management, in my opinion, are not the same thing. No. Management, I hate to teach economics, management direct resources. Leadership inspires basically your followers to help you achieve your goals. And in that respect, you need to basically encourage others and be patient, be tolerant, and make sure that you bring the team with you. It's only a matter of team building. You're only as strong as your team. And it's very crucial you surround yourself with a very strong team. And that basically set the tone in terms of the direction that you're going to go.
Oh, that's exciting. And as the dean, you oversee 15 centers of excellence, which you're obviously proud of, and I think we can all be proud of. The Center for Leadership, which hosts the Leadership Voice, this TV program, was developed to infuse leadership into all levels of Mihaylo College of Business and Economics, crossing undergraduate, graduate, alumni, and the Southern California community. Crosses all of these different areas, these different levels. Why do you believe that it is so important for businesses and communities to develop leaders?
How can we survive without the leader? You know, we need leader in all capacities. And strong leadership sets the tone and the direction. And Center for Leadership basically carries the weight in terms of training the leaders of our future. You carry your weight in terms of the community that you serve. And without the leaders, I don't see any bright future. And the leaders needs to know where they are, what they do, and where they come from. And you need to know who you are leading, because you can't be a leader without knowing your followers. You have to know the culture of your followers, where they come from, and then adapt and adjust your leadership style based on who you're leading.
And this is very much why the Center for Leadership exists. Exactly. And the Center for Leadership, we seek to become the leadership voice for Orange County. As you think about the Center for Leadership and you think about what we're doing at the center, what are the top 3 things that excite you the most about the Center for Leadership?
The Center for Leadership, of course, has done a great job under your leadership, and I'm very happy to have you in charge in that position. Clearly, you're developing the future leaders, and that's an enormous task and enormous responsibility upon your shoulder. In addition to that, the second thing is there's always room for training. You can always train the existing leaders. That doesn't mean we're done. I'm always trying to learn, no matter what position, whether as a faculty or professor or center director or dean, there's always room for me to learn. And finally, the Center for Leadership is a link and a connection to community. So without these links, we basically have no connection to the community. And the connection to community is basically expose our community to our students and basically opens the door for our students. So all centers, including your center, of course, have huge responsibility in terms of fulfilling these missions.
Well, thank you, Dean Rahmatian, for joining us today. Your innovative and authentic leadership is a great asset to Cal State Fullerton and bring great things to Mihaylo College of Business. And on behalf of everyone else that's in the college, we're so excited to have you on board as our dean. We're excited to work with you, and we think that we're really lucky to have you.
I appreciate the comments, and I look forward to working with you. And it's been my honor and pleasure to be able to serve the college and university in this capacity.
Well, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you, sir.
You know, Albert Einstein once said, if you can't explain it simply, then you don't understand it well enough. We at the Leadership Voice want to help all leaders become better by sharing insights, lessons, wisdom, and also by taking complex ideas and making them inherently practical. So each episode, we invite an expert who to give you a 3-minute lesson in leadership. It's now time for the Leadership Voice's Leadership Lesson. Joining us today on the Leadership Voice is Professor Gerard Beenen, who will tell us about the 3 pillars of lifelong learning and what it means for leaders.
Hi, I'm Gerard Beenen, and here's today's leadership lesson. The most effective leaders are constantly striving to improve, grow, and develop. In other words, they're continuous lifelong learners. I'd like to share 3 interrelated characteristics that are essential for continuous learning for leaders. These include self-awareness, feedback seeking, and self-regulation. First, self-awareness. Self-awareness involves having an accurate perception of yourself and how others perceive you. Effective leaders aren't arrogant know-it-alls with an inflated sense of self-importance. They're confident in their own strengths, but they also seek to understand and recognize their own shortcomings. That's why effective leaders need a good dose of humility. They recognize there will always be opportunities to learn and improve. And we know from leadership research that self-awareness is foundational for becoming an effective leader. The second characteristic is feedback seeking. Developing an accurate self-awareness requires a systematic search for information that informs our improvement agenda as leaders. That's where feedback seeking comes in. Feedback seeking involves a proactive, unsolicited search for useful information about our leadership assets and liabilities. Feedback is a necessary condition for learning. We can't know how well we're doing as leaders without feedback from others. But soliciting and receiving feedback has a potential cost, and that's where the third characteristic, self-regulation, comes in. Self-regulation entails controlling our own emotions and impulses. When feedback seeking exposes our strengths as leaders, we'll become tempted to be overconfident. When it exposes our shortcomings, our natural impulse is to become defensive. In either case, whether we're overconfident or overdefensive, without self-regulation, we can let emotions cloud our judgment. Self-regulation helps us maintain a thick skin and a cool head. In other words, it helps us have an accurate and appropriate level of confidence and to sift through criticism with clear thinking that isn't clouded by our emotions. Each of these characteristics also includes an important feedback loop. For instance, self-regulation prevents us from overreacting to feedback that we receive. Self-awareness motivates us to seek feedback on our strengths and weaknesses. The feedback we receive in turn helps us build accurate self-awareness. All three are essential characteristics that leaders need to be effective, continuous learners. And that's your leadership lesson.
Thank you, Professor Beenen, for your insights into lifelong learning. It's now that time of the show for the Leadership Voice Q&A. Every show, we will take questions from you, our viewers, and we'll answer any leadership-related questions you may have. To send us a question, you can email us at leadershipvoice@fullerton.edu, or you can tweet us at CSUF_leadership. Today we have 3 questions. Our first question comes from Brea, California, and here it is. If I wanted to read a good leadership book, something that will make me think about things differently, something more than just the be the best you can be type of book, what would you recommend? You know, today, based on what we learned so far about growth, development, and lifelong learning, I would recommend Robert Keegan's The Evolving Self. Our next question comes from Fullerton, California. As a parent, what can I do to best develop my child's leadership potential? Well, leadership potential probably will be best developed through intellectual development and social interactions. So let your child be curious, because curiosity is the earliest signs of intellectual development. And secondly, give your children plenty of opportunities to interact with other children and adults at various ages, as this promotes their social and communication skills. Our final question comes in from Irvine, California. What is one characteristic of leadership that most great leaders have in common? Well, here's your answer. There are so many characteristics that can make a person excel in a leadership role. But if I were to think of just one characteristic that will make a leader stand out and really shine, it's listening. The best leaders you will ever meet listen to you. They will listen to those around them. There are 5 senses that people can use, but the sense of hearing is the most important sense that you will want to become a great leader. This has been the Leadership Voice Q&A. If you have a question or need advice, send it to us by email or Twitter, leadershipvoice@fullerton.edu, or you can tweet us at CSUF_leadership. This wraps up our television show today. Thank you especially to all of our special guests, Provost Anil Puri, Dean Morteza Rahmatian, and our special faculty leadership lesson from Professor Gerard Beenen. Next time, we have 2 chief executives. We have Todd Talbot, president of Fluidmaster, and Joe Hensley, market president of US Bank. Plus, we will have another special leadership lesson another leadership countdown, and lots more worth tuning into the show. I'm Jay Barbuto, and we will see you next time right here on The Leadership Voice.